This is recording 798-798. You can find me at ChristinaStation918.com or speakingtothecia.com. They both go to my website. It's just easier to find my website if you go to speakingtothecia.com because everybody knows how to spell that. So, this is Listen Next, 798, I believe. Okay, so I want to make this report because I'm realizing there are several crimes that Gene Roberts and her Manson occult committed. Okay, so you're going to have to go through my whole podcast on how she goes about doing all of this, okay? So, anyway, the first one is, and there's things I want to tell you that go with all of this. And Jean is in the process. She was in the process of this on my way home today. And then after I got home from work, her talking in my brain and making threats in my brain. And she made more terror threats again. Because people said they were going to go get my case numbers and go press charges against her. And then this is in my brain. And then she said, "Don't you do it or I'll set off an explosion." She's threatening to set off explosions. And then she goes, "You just make me the point of contact." Jean Jernigan Roberts wants to be the savior. She wants to commit the crime and have her paid Charlie's Angels racket the crime and then make the money and then spread more lies and make more money and commit more terrorism. It's a gigantic terrorism and trafficking racket. So anyway, the first one is Shreveport mass shooting. So you're going to see instantly, you already know just by the name Shreveport, Louisiana. But I wanted to point out that, today, also in addition, because you're going to see it when you read the article, you already know Gene Roberts and her Manson occult committed the crime. But on my way home, my playlist was hacked like crazy. She always hacks, like if I'm playing my playlist on Spotify, she always hacks it. And she hacks my computers at work. So she was really hacking it today, and she was hacking my playlist on the way home, and she was pretending to be black. Okay. So she was trying to racket it, is what she was trying to racket these crimes she's committing. So she's like trying to set off like an alarm siren by like hacking my playlist, and then, but she's pretending to be black doing it. And earlier today, when I was at work, she had people on and they can't, I've like I've told you before, I can only hear in mental telepathy. I can see visually sometimes, but I can hear like the conversation going back and forth, and most of the time it's her plotting and scheming. Okay. So they sit around and laugh and plot and scheme and but there was a group of people she had on, and I don't know if this was an act, like they were putting on an act, or if it was genuine, but they were figuring out that Gene Roberts was lying to them. Gene keeps saying that she's me, Christina. She keeps saying that she's me. And my whole life, she keeps saying that she is me. She is my dad's ex-girlfriend. Okay, she is not me. And that's how she deceives people. And then there's like a whole bunch of Christinas, like I told you, that all steal my identity. And they run around running rackets and committing crime. The other night they said in my brain, they go, "Gene Roberts rules." So that was another thing I want to tell you they did the other night when I went to sleep. In my brain, they took one of the logs from my backyard, the railroad ties, and my brain lit up with like a fire underneath it. And that goes to one of these crimes. So anyway, what her theme is this week is, so far what it looks like is that she's trying to really white people. Remember I made the recording and I told you about what she puts in my brain, and I told you about that dog that she put in my brain, and then I output a chat GPT, a visual of it, but I don't have that shared online. I have it saved, But anyway, she leaked it out and then went and told lies everywhere and lied to a bunch of people trying to cover her ass. And so now she's acting like she's angry America, and she's committing attacks, pretending it's everybody else committing the attacks when it's her simply trying to cover her butt. Where everybody that's been following along with my podcast already knows everything that's going on. They already know that Jean is guilty. They already know that Jean is committing these crimes. They already know that Jean is posing as a bunch of different people and a bunch of different groups and pretending to be people that she's not and committing crime and then committing out acts of revenge. And she'll act like she's me committing the crime, Christina. And it's Jean Roberts and her Manson occult. So that's what the theme is this week. So anyway, the next one is 8 runners, because she's trying to, remember I told you she's running a coup. She's running a con, which you know what her con is, and you know she's running her coup. So that's what she's doing. She's trying to manipulate people in the most stupidest of ways. Like, people that follow my podcast know that Jean Roberts of Milton, Florida is the criminal. She's not a cop. She's not a savior of humanity. They know that she is the perp. And they know that she is the leader of Charles Manson. And they know that there are a lot of people in her occult. And they know she's got a lot of people sucked into her crap. But I'm like, I'm not Chicken Little. I'm not the Warner. All I can do is make reports. Even her forcing me into making reports public this way because she wants to cause pain and hurt. And it makes me look like what? Like Chicken Little. Everything is freaking funny to her. She needs to be arrested. So all I have to do, I can decode the crimes she commits easily. I've been decoding her crimes for 10 years now. All I have to do is open cases against her and keep making reports against her until she's arrested. Until I'm in witness protection and my family's safe and I'm safe and Jean is arrested and everybody can have justice that Jean Roberts has been attacking. So until then, it's her and her sickos running wild, conning and hustling people and committing crimes. So, anyway, so the next one is 8 runners hospitalized after collapsing during South Korea marathon. So what she used here they already let me know in the article. When I read the article, they know it's Charles Manson. They know Jean Roberts did it. Because they were pointing out that one of the turnoffs was something like Munson, M-U-N-S-O-N. And so they're like, so I know they're showing me that they know that Jean Roberts committed the crime. She also used Bunsen burner is what she used, which is a little thing you use in chemistry class with it, you like when you're in school. Okay, so she's using Bunsen burner. She's making a reference to like my seventh grade year in my science class. So anyway, and that would go to the fire. Okay, so she also might be making a reference to like how they use the phrase, because she's been keying, like she focuses my eyes on certain words and phrases, just like she focuses my eyes on like people. She wants to stare at everybody and she wants to communicate, and she like communicates lies and crimes. Like she's like, there's like different groups of people like looking through my eyes, and then she's like, it's like one group of criminal people communicating to another criminal group of people. And then there's another group of people that can see through my eyes and they don't do her say anything, but she communicates lies back and forth, like pointing my eyes. So she's been pointing my eyes to like burner phone is what she's been doing. So anyway, a little while ago, also, there was an explosion sound in my brain, and she's also changing the air pressure in my room. I have a water bottle on my nightstand, and she changes the air pressure in my room to make the water bottle expand so it makes a pop noise, and then she like flinches my body. So she's got control to technology she shouldn't have, and she's acting like she's some kind of cop savior, and she's the goddamn terrorist committing the crimes. But anyway, in my brain, a little while ago, there was an explosion sound in my brain. It was coming from like 70, it was coming from like the direction of like 80, it was coming from the crosswalk of the direction from where I'm at to 81st and Sheridan. And then she screamed, burn. And then she said, that's the Middle East. She's like, that's from the Middle East, is what she's saying. But she did, without saying it, she said it. Like, remember I told you she can put stuff in my brain. She can speak in my brain, but she also sends messages in my brain without using words. So she did that without using words. And then people aren't on my brain. That's not the Middle East. That is you doing that, Jean. You're making a threat and you're pretending to act on behalf of the Middle East is what you're doing. So anyway, also the next one is deadly shooting at historic tourist site leaves 1 dead, several injured as motive unclear. Gunman took his own life at Mexico's popular, I'm not going to pronounce this right, Teotihuacan pyramids, authorities said. So she's using Toucan Sam. Today she was like messing with, I have Tupac on my playlist, and she was letting the Tupac song play for a little bit, and then she'd cut it off, and then she'd skip it to another song, like she's hacking my playlist. And then she's using Tio means uncle in Spanish, so she's saying Toucan Sam, and she's saying Uncle Sam. And she's making a reference to the stairs that I used to climb, that I know were like a future sign of like Mexico and the pyramids on my walk somewhere when I was little. So she's making references to my childhood. And last night, somebody put in my brain a whole thing, and I don't know what it is or what it means, but it was me little, but there's all kinds of like weird stuff going on. Like I was trying to like outrun. It wasn't a real dream. It was a delta wave. But I was like trying to outrun or get away from Jean and her sickos. And they kept like following me everywhere. And I was taking like crazy like paths. But, and then like on concrete, like walking paths, I was taking like crazy paths. So it's like I'm little again, like walking home. But anyway, I end up walking on the stairs, and I know what's supposed to be these stairs, but there's like dead smashed snakes everywhere. And I'm like, I got to get away from Jean Roberts. This is what she's putting in my brain. I got to get away from Jean Roberts. And so I'm walking down this path of these dead snakes, and then I reach the end, and there's water, and there's 2 big gigantic alligators or crocodiles in the water, and I can just see the tops of them at the water. And there was like nowhere to go, so I had to go turn around and go right back up the stairs again, walking over all the dead snakes. So I don't know what kind of message that was. I don't know if that was her doing that or somebody telling me that Jean Roberts is the one. They know that Jean Roberts is the one committing those crimes, and they know that she's posing as me as a little girl. And there's like no path or no way, because no matter how I tell on her, she's got somebody lying for her and covering for her. That's the only thing I could think of that it would be, unless it's like Jean going, you're doomed, life over, I win, haha. I mean, I don't know what the message is there, but that's what it was in my brain. So anyway, that is the end of this recording.